Hello everyone. Uh, I'm here to do a speedrun of Peggle, so let's just get going real quick. We don't have a name for this, let's just go. Oh, that's not right. I messed up already. Never mind. Alright, and with that we are gonna be going real quick. It's gonna be a pretty fast-paced run. Lots of things to talk about. So yeah, without further ado, I will get going. And so yeah, so this is so yeah, to explain a bit about the basic gameplay of Peggle, we have this big pachinko board in front of us, and we gotta clear out all the orange packs in these levels. Now the funny thing is for this run is each level has a specified layout, but how the packs are colored in, basically, that's basically fully RNG. So we can do a little bit to sort of prepare our run for in terms of strats we can do to help us along, but for most of the run we're just gonna have to improvise and see what's gonna be fast to do. And yeah, this was the first level. Now, basically, the way we start out most of the level is since the physics of this game are still deterministic, is if we just aim at a specific pixel in the window, then we're gonna get the same shot every time. So in this level, we used a bit of that to get rid of all of the bars, all of these slides in the level quickly, and yeah, that can definitely help speed up a lot of the levels that otherwise would you would start out like 30 seconds trying to clear out a bunch of the obstacles in the level. However, we didn't stop there, so if we look at this one real quick, then basically in many of the less structured levels we can also just do a pixel shot that we know is just gonna get a bunch of packs really quickly, and that was an incredibly fast level. Okay. So yeah, yeah, we haven't really been through some of the basics yet, because I was intended to explain that in level 3, but that one went too fast. So yeah, there's been a few extra pack colors added. The green packs that you see give us special power based on the character that we're using. For the first stage, we get Bjorn the Unicorn, which gives us an aim assist that you may have seen a bit of, which is occasionally all right. Interestingly enough, there happen to be a few levels where the position of the green packs is not randomized. And for some reason, whenever that happens, it's only applied when you're playing from a new file. So basically, this is one of the few categories where we get to use it, and the first instance of it is actually going to be coming up in the next level. So you're going to see that the strats we use actually make you take advantage of a fixed green position. So yeah, there we go. We get the multi-ball here because we moved on to the next stage, and then we get to And now we get to play with Jimmy. In adventure mode, every stage basically has its own master that the game tells us to use. And yeah, in this case, we get a very wicked multi-ball. Jimmy, the game kind of likes to characterize Jimmy as a very wicked and radical character. And so he gets kind of also wicked and radical levels. In this case, it actually works quite well, but most of them are actually a bit janky to play with Jimmy. And you're gonna see real soon why. You're gonna get a bit of an idea why that is. We have a bunch of big slide obstacles in the level, which would be kind of alright. We can just strat them out like normally, but the thing is that Jimmy also gets a very unique mechanic in that if you hit the green and get a multi-ball, the green pack will instantly disappear instead of basically waiting for the end of the shot to disappear. So if one of those green packs happens to lie on the slide that we're going for, it would just straight up break and cost us like 20 seconds probably. However, there's nothing stopping us from just restarting the level and rolling a new layout. So that's something that you may see occasionally come up here. Okay, I got the correct pixel here. Since I lined up on a specific pack here, you kind of need to sort of know what to aim for each possible color it can be. And obviously, it's very rare for that specific pack to be green. So that can always get a bit janky to set up quickly. But yeah, this level 2-3, it used to be one of the harder levels, the first like genuinely tough level in the run. But at some point we just kind of figure out the correct pixels for it to make quick work of most of it. And this is one of the bigger culprits for having to re-roll the layout a lot.
So you're basically save scumming there?
Yeah. That's kind of how it is. There can be other reasons where you'll be seeing me re-roll a layout. There are plenty of cases where I want to, where if there is a very powerful strat on the level, then obviously a layout where where the packs that you collect from the stat would contain a lot of oranges would be a lot faster than if it had only a handful of oranges. So there are some things to say for like going for safe scumming there, but it's not something that I comment that sort of crops up super that often. And so in this level we actually see the first another new mechanic, which is moving elements in the level. It means that we have a lot less available in terms of fixed strats because, well, if you think about it, normally a strat would just have an X and a Y component that you need to line up, but obviously when you add a time component to it, that becomes a lot harder, especially because this game actually runs at 100 FPS. So if you were going for a frame perfect trick, that would be a lot harder than a frame perfect trick in your typical 60 FPS console game. There is a certain category where there are some categories where there is a frame perfect trick that people go for on the very last level. I haven't exactly practiced it, so I can't really show it off in the run, but thankfully there's still other pretty cool looking strats available there, so no worries there. And we have moved on to stage 3. And this is in stage 3 we get to play with Cat Tut, who gives us a very helpful pyramid that will definitely not lose us several seconds on average every time we hit a green. So yeah, this is also another thing here. This is probably the hardest pixel to line up that we have to go for here in this run. I think this is, but no, that's not right. I think I was on the correct pixel, but I convinced myself to adjust left. That's much better.
So sick. So sick.
So you may be wondering, how do you come up with this, with something that is this garbage to line up? And the answer to that is, well, most of the time these kind of pixel strats, they kind of come up through just trial and error. But there has been one instance of a community member who goes by Smiling Marks, and they basically just decided to write some code that would test out every possible pixel on every level, and just record how many pegs that would collect. And so that's how we sort of figured out that that's how that start came up.
Basically, you have software and you iteratively test every combination until you find something good, huh?
Kinda. I suppose in terms of. Oh, I did not realize I would hear that. But yeah. I got kind of knocked off my rocker a bit by that. Not gonna lie. Anyhow, the next level is just kind of janky in a very uninteresting way. So I think it's time for a quick message or two.
Yeah, for sure. That was Mannequin Z with $25 saying, "Good luck, Brass." So wishing you good luck on the run. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that donation, and keep them coming in. We'd love to keep reading your donations out here on stream while Brass runs this fantastic game. And we've also got Lie Pasta with lie as in the chemical, not as in to lie to someone. $10 as well. No comment there, but thank you so much for that donation.
Ooh. So yeah, this level, it's a very janky skill to sort of manage handling these battles correctly. As you can see there, if you make like a tiny mistake, you can easily get punished for like 10 seconds at a time. It's probably like one of my least favorite levels in the game. On top of that, it can also be pretty tough to beat. Thankfully I got through it this time. Oh, I missed that one? Really? I'm not gonna hear the end of that. So basically this this level is kind of interesting because the big slide on the bottom, it turns out there's like several hundred of different pixels you could use that would actually like clear that big bar for us. But yeah. Other than that, this is another pretty yeah,
And you mentioned this in the beginning, right? Like the first couple shots are usually something you can set up, but like what you're doing here and what you do for the rest of the level is almost entirely improvised, right?
yeah, that's true. But basically, you kind of actually, this is not the greatest time to sort of go into that. I guess because this is like one of the first sort of harder stages, I guess. You already see what kind of power we get. We get a big explosion. And the big explosion is kind of well timed to show up because these levels are all pretty tricky to do well. This one's kind of alright, actually, with the strats that we use. But basically, the next 4 levels are all filled with moving garbage. So actually, now that I think of it, I'm gonna try something. See if this works. Actually, I forgot what the exact alignment of this was. Let's hope I don't get super punished for it. Oh, I'm not gonna keep trying this. So basically, what you can, in theory, do is get the ball stuck in here and basically clear out this entire big bit for free. We don't go for it in runs because it is actually quite slow on average. But it would be pretty cool to get it. And there's some of the larger categories where there's like additional goals that you have to go for. Where we do actually use the strat, although I haven't run that category in like half a year or something, so I forgot the strat. That's just how things go. But yeah, basically this. Oh, we don't want this. So yeah, this in this stage you're gonna see a bit more reroll strats since we do want to do our explosions to happen in favorable locations, obviously. But also on top of that, there's another thing which is going to be kind of tough to explain in just these few minutes. But well, the thing is, we start actually can see on the left we actually start each level with 4 balls with 10 balls, 10 shots available to us, but we typically need, for the harder levels, we definitely need, typically need about 12 or something on average. So we would need to get extra shots available from somewhere, and there's a few things you can do for us for that. Basically, if you go for a fixed strategy, then what you can do is you can time your shot so that it lands in the bucket that goes below here, because that will return the ball that you used for you. Obviously, that's not available on a level like this. So what we do in that case is score manipulation. And because this game, if you get 25,000 points in a shot, then you get a ball for free. So there's a few. Obviously, the space blast itself helps a lot for this. But what also happens, what also affects us a lot is managing the multiplier. That's what you see here on the right. It basically ticks up as we clear more oranges. And so, yeah, so later on in the level, a certain shot is able to score more points than would be in the beginning of the level. So it's often a bit of a trade-off between balancing between using our big shots early to collect more oranges, or something's not going right here. Okay, that looks a lot more like it. I messed that one up slightly, but I guess we'll just run with it. That's supposed to get that second shot is supposed to get 1.5 slide instead of just half a slide, so kind of unfortunate. Yeah, so this is kind of something that you all that just kind of happens when you run this game. You have to play 55 levels, and that is essentially 55 rolls to get extremely unlucky.
A lot of RNG.
And so if we're in trouble here, then I got lucky here and got a good point boost spawn. The purple peg that you can see move on every shot. The game calls it purple, but I guess most people would rather say pink.
Nice pink shot.
So when you're in trouble... Oh, by the way, let's not talk about trouble. Let's talk about Gerald. This is Gerald. Everyone in chat has to post Gerald, or the run is going to be invalid. I don't make the rules, sorry. So yeah, dang, a lot of things kind of happened because I had to talk, because I tried to talk about several things at once. So yeah, basically, it's a bit tricky because I'm actually not quite used to this keyboard layout.
I was going to ask, is the keyboard layout also different than what you're used to?
Yeah, so basically...
So I think it's a Swedish keyboard.
Well, it's not so much the normal keyboard layout, but this is like a slightly more compact model. So like, I have to switch between the arrow keys and the numpad occasionally. And yeah, they're a lot closer together than what I'm sort of used to. So I often have to fumble around with looking for where the keys are.
This level has the flippers as well, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much yeah, it's kind of the next master, of course, they go by quickly. So this has happened like every time I sort of commentated a run, just one of the masters gets completely shafted. So I guess today it's Claude's turn. Very funny. If you're familiar with Duck Duck, he has been speedrunning Peggle in the past, and that's how a lot of the current community, Peggle speedrunning community, was formed. Basically, sort of, a lot of people just sort of came over here from Duck Duck's chat, which is very funny. It gives the community a very unique dynamic since we've basically most of our top runners have never speedrun before Peggle, so it's always been very fun to sort of watch how things develop there. I guess it's time for a quick message.
Yeah, we have a couple open incentives, I think, now that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So we have the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom stuff still available, and then we've also got those dragon incentives as well.
Okay, I'm trying one-handed hydration strats and it's not really working. Oh no, I really can't do that now. So it just so happens this is like one of the few levels where we actually go for timing-dependent strats, and I completely cannot find the correct. Okay, hopefully this is gonna work.
Yeah, this level looks so cool when the strat works right. It's like so satisfying.
Hey, nice.
Nice.
So yeah, this is pretty interesting strat because it actually took a while for someone to notice that basically this game just kind of lets you pause buffer things by pressing space. So that makes this strat from like easily one of the most annoying things in the game to something that's fairly doable. Although this stage is still one of the most annoying ones because we are playing with Renfield, and Renfield acts. So you hit that, that's a spooky ball, and it's gonna wrap around and do another shot for us. And this is usually just slower than just spending an extra ball. So we often kind of want to avoid it, and if we do hit it, then there's a chance that it's helpful, but there's also a chance that it just wastes 10 seconds. So this stage in particular has like one of the has like the most amount of variance. Some of the most amount of variance in the game out of all of them, pretty much, which is already like kind of massive, even if you don't take into account just the possibility of straight up dying, which is very common. It is very rare to get a run through without failing a level. My PB for the for like a last half year or so had a death in it up until like a week or so ago, basically. Ooh. Ah, damn it. I'll just reset. So I'm trying to set up something funny here, and it uses and I'm using a very obscure Windows feature called mouse keys, which basically just let you control the mouse with a numpad. It's because setting up there, you basically just have no way to line up the correct altitude from the pixel where I want to fire at. So what I can do is basically place the mouse somewhere where I do know the correct altitude, and then use mouse keys to move to sort of nudge over the cursor to the right. Funnily enough, you do see another instance of mouse key strats in the next level. But this one's also tricky. Ah, I missed this one. I think I messed up some of the settings during setup because it feels like these mouse keys kind of go a bit slower than what I'm used to. So especially this one, I had to move from here to like here-ish, which it's pretty tough to do. So alright, so there's actually like a very funny thing, which is that this game actually has glitches somehow. Basically, you're not seeing it on this level immediately because I picked the wrong level to sort of start talking about it. But basically, in most levels, you can skip a certain dialogue text box by clicking the continue button on the previous level with 2 mouse buttons. So, which the game kind of interprets that as basically starting a level and then instantly retrying it. You didn't saw it there because it just happens to not work when you go from one stage to another. But on the next 4 levels, you will see it. The text box that appeared on this level shouldn't appear on the subsequent ones. But anyways, we now have we are now playing with Tula, and we are finally back to some of the actual stronger powers in the game. Tula's flower power, once you hit it, it will clear out 1/5 of the remaining orange pecks immediately, which for a speedrun where we're just interested in beating the level is, of course, going to be incredibly fast. In fact, Tula is probably currently the second fastest master overall. Not in any percent because that's obviously level dependent, but there is the individual masters category where we play adventure mode with just 1 master instead of all 10 of them. And so yeah, in those categories, although it's ever so slightly depends on how much people want to play the category. Tula is currently has the second best time in those categories, which is pretty. I can't really talk a lot about the specifics of that. I don't play those categories a lot. I mainly play any percent and this game's 100% category, which is called Extreme Grandmaster. Because of course every category needs a radical title.
The frog and the inner tube always made me laugh in this level.
Yeah, this level is one that's also really hard to manage. I am pretty sure this is one of the only levels in like not just this game but also its sequel Peggle Knight that uses sub movements, which is basically like linking 2 movement types together on the same object. And so yeah, this level again looks incredibly annoying, but we do have a powerful strat available. That's pretty cool. So yeah, those kinds of horizontal bricks that this level has in the middle, they can be an absolute nightmare to clear out if you don't have a good strat available for them. So thankfully, this level sort of went from like being easily like one of the most annoying levels in the game to being only slightly annoying, which is a pretty big improvement. So I've talked about skipping dialogue boxes, but there's actually another glitch which is so unflashy that it literally doesn't have a name, and that is basically if you this game has like a fast forward feature that you can use to line up timings more quickly, but it doesn't save it. You normally can't use it when the shot's actually going. But it turns out that if you have fast forward held while you're firing your shots, you do actually get 2 extra frames of fast forward for some reason. So if you do the math, then that ends up saving about 1/7 of a second for every shot that you do it on. But yeah, if you do that 500 times, then that does end up saving like 1:20 on the run. We are back to really hard strats. Give me a moment. Alright, very cool. Hey, and we got the good roll first try. We got Magic Hat, so I can do this. So as you can see, this is... Warren is one of the funniest masters to use because his power is literally RNG. We get a choice of 4 options, and we get to roll between 4 options, and one of them literally is... the one on the bottom literally is any one of the 7 powers that we've seen before. That's not the timing. So we saw Magic Hat, which is usually the best option. But the 2 other fixed options are Extra Ball and Triple Score. Extra Ball is literally an extra ball, which is not terrible in this case because all of these levels are pretty hard somehow, even though Warren is definitely not one of the stronger masters. And then Triple Score is score-based, so only occasionally an extra ball. And it's also like a quarter of a... And it also like loses a quarter of a second compared to like getting an extra ball directly. I wonder what's faster. So in that case, I had a choice between a wall bounce or just clearing out the brick on one side, clearing out the brick that's in the way, and taking 2 shots. It is often kind of a balancing act to sort of manage going fast in the end game, where there's often a choice between either spending more shots that each do one thing in quick succession, or trying to combine doing multiple things in one with one shot. It's very hard to get a clear answer on what is faster. So that's kind of like one of the absolute top level skills in the game, and I think that's probably one of the big things that's set some of the what's currently like I would consider to be the big 3 of this category: Polypice, Panaha, and Helios. That's what kind of sets them apart from the other runners, because like my PB is like actually like straight up 5 minutes lower than either of them. So yeah, as you may have seen, for some reason Warren just gets extremely cursed looking levels. Rather than like having a more sort of abstract level design that's that actually like plays somewhat smoothly in terms of the things you want to do. We get a level that's shaped like 2 dice, or a level that's shaped like a giant roulette wheel for some reason. If you enjoyed those kind of levels, then I do recommend the sequel game Peggle Knights, which we found out that the person who designed most of the levels in Deluxe actually like left before Night, so that's why the level design is so different. That's why when you like sort of look into it, the level design sort of really stands out as being different between the 2 games. I never know what to do when I get hat here, so let's just try that. I guess we're just doing this now. Okay, so I had like notes prepared of things I could talk about when when I'm like out of words, but for this stage my notes just say question mark, question mark, question mark. Probably because Warren is just a bit too random. Anyways, we go from Warren to probably one of the more fun, most fun masters in the game. This is Cinderbottom. This level is really bulky, so we start out with a very cool strat. There is a very there's a very easy there's a sort of an alternative strat that's a bit slower, but it's actually completely trivial to execute. Hang on, I want to get this first. So basically, you just shoot with the while aiming all the way to the left here, and then do the same thing all the way on the right here, and that just clears half of the level for some reason. But yeah, the fireball, as you can see, it actually just straight up burns through all of the pegs and just and instead will only bounce off of the bucket going below it. Actually, I want to reset. So when I reset in the Cinder levels, it's usually because I want to get a fireball quickly, because yeah, getting them early is really advantageous for Cinder in particular. And so these fireballs are also all basically prepared strats, because if you want to sort of improvise a good fireball bounce, that can often be pretty tough to do naturally. There is one thing that's sort of consistently works on most levels. Because of the way the Cinder levels are, we only get to see it in this level in particular. No, let's not go to the main menu. So as you can see, if you we go again all the way on the side and then bounce off the sidewall of the bucket. If you are going for a specific fireball bounce, like basically if you genuinely need a specific angle, then this is actually a lot easier to execute than just going off of the top, because the line segments that top of the bucket is made of are a lot smaller than those on the side. Guess we're going immediately. But in this case, they are a little bit precise, but they are doable, so I can so with some preparation, I can just go off the top. So yeah, this is a pretty wild level that just kind of doesn't look like it should work, but in terms of the speedrun, this actually like flows really nicely. And the cinder segment is genuinely like nice to just sort of be able to sort of fly through most of the levels really quickly. I set up on the wrong pack. This is like the one exception where like these structures are just a bit too fat for the fireball. As you can see, I can go for it, but I'm not gonna. But like, as you can see, just that one fireball shot that still leaves a lot of packs on the board, and on this left one, it would just leave a lot more and not be amazingly effective. So yeah, I think with that we are moving on to the next level. There is a very interesting mechanic in this next level, and that is, if I can. All right, so there's three packs on the bottom here that are actually like guaranteed to be orange. It's these three here, and they are also like covered by the big spinning cane in the middle. So we have sort of a safety strat that basically just does almost nothing but clear out those packs in the bottom. So yeah, a very interesting. We now get one of the weirdest masters to play with, essentially. Basically, what the Zen Ball does is, if you like have chosen an angle, then it's gonna simulate a bunch of angles around it, and then pick the one that scores the most points. Now the fact that it goes by points is actually like a very critical factor for the speedrun here, because sometimes it's a good thing that it goes for points, because orange packs are worth more than blue packs, but oh, what the hell is going on here? But what's worth a lot more than the orange packs is the point boost. So since the way this power works is you get a green and then you get a Zen Ball on the next shot, you're dependent on where that point boost is gonna spawn. So in this case, I got a pretty favorable one, so I can still get the shot to do what I want, but very often you just kind of get screwed over because who just gets distracted by a shiny thing.
Nice, that one was good. That was a fun shot.
I think this level does introduce portals, but they're not used in a very interesting way here. So I think if there are messages, then we could go for one more.
I think we still are waiting on some of those incentives and things as well. But yeah, like I said, just time to shout out the charity as well. You know, Make-A-Wish is why we're here, and raising money to get the wishes for the critically ill children. So yeah, let's keep the fundraising efforts alive. And if you've got any donations in chat, now is a great time to get them in. Some really good incentives to put those towards as well.
Alright, so I got a bit of a weird development here with just The strat that we go for here does collect a lot on the right side, but it just so happened that there were a lot of oranges on this side left. Alright. Thankfully we got a good send ball here. So yeah, this level is a very intimidating looking level. It's, I will say in runs it's kinda okay-ish, it's just a bit slow. Thankfully I hit this one. That one's not entirely free and I forgot to actually practice it before the run. Which is which can be a bit awkward because many of these setups, they are kind of, they do depend a bit on how they show up on the monitor, how easy they are to set up. But yeah, I think at this point we are moving on to, after this is the, oh, I got lucky there, nice.
The double shot and the return ball, that was great.
Yeah. So we have arrived at Zenfrog. And Zenfrog is probably, well, let's just say it's a very interesting level. It's just a giant lottery. Let's be real with it.
This one's just like one of the most random ones of any of them, right?
Yeah. You just gotta hope that your shots kind of work out at the bottom, that you have a good pace with in terms of the oranges you collect, and that you get, of course, good send balls. I was kind of fearing that this one would be really bad, but it's actually turned out alright somehow. But another problem is that because of how little you can predict with it, sometimes you just end up accidentally giving it a shot where there's literally nothing on the table. And the level is kind of... yeah, so we're in big trouble. There is... you can sort of try going for... trying to aim the shots from the moving pegs into the bucket here, but it's something that I in particular am not very good at. Mostly because that's a skill that sort of most often comes up in Peggle Knight, and I don't run that game very often. Oh. Yeah, so there was basically nothing there I could do there. Kind of unfortunate. It's a bit awkward to have such a big, such a massive choke point right at the very end of the run.
Because after this you go into 11, and there's only 5 after this one.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's just 5 levels after this. So yeah, it's kind of infamous for just this level kind of infamous for just destroying many many good paced runs. Alright, it looks like things are going a bit nicer here.
Yeah, the last one was particularly unlucky, it felt like.
Yeah, it's I do sort of check for how my pace in terms of beating the level is, but I only do that near the beginning of the level, and the beginning actually went somewhat alright, but then it sort of went down the drain super quickly.
That last Zen ball was so good. Yeah, I mean, night and day, the difference between those. It just shows you how random that level is.
It's actually kind of interesting that this was the first death of the level so far, which is kind of rare in such a no reset setting as this. Especially because it turns out trying to do commentary while playing this game is incredibly hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's all not sub-pixel, but it's a lot of pixel perfect manipulation that you have to really, really focus to make sure you're getting those shots in.
It's not only that, but also just a lot of the decision making that sort of came up here. Also, that is the most wicked strat of the entire game. It's kind of interesting to get to clear half of the level, almost half of the level with just a single pixel. And then for this one, we just there was some point where we just decided to throw pixels at this level until it dies. So I'll do 2 more here. Oh, I missed that one. It's not such a big deal. Just getting those 3 is good enough in most circumstances. Let's do this. Alright, I gotta improvise a little bit here since we're off the correct line. Okay, I can still do that pixel, so we can do that, and then we should just be good to go. Yeah, the master levels, they because of how gimmicky they are, they tend to stand out for just how involved the strats get on the on these levels. This is only the second portal level of the game. We haven't seen it yet, but basically, next shot we will. So with that, we go from over here. So yes, as you can see, we go through the portals into the and then out of the UFO here, which is often in the end game of this level. You just need to line up a few straggler oranges with the by shooting through the portals, which is a very unique skill that's just really hard to
Yeah, casually this level is borderline impossible in my opinion. It's so hard.
Okay, and this is chapter 2 of throwing pixels at a level until it dies. So I will probably be a little bit quiet here, although the last level, it goes by, this is second last level. The last level can go by really fast. So we are actually probably gonna be hitting times sometime soon. I didn't realize I got literally the worst generation in the universe. Okay, that was some good luck. And now I gotta remember this.
Nice.
Woo. So yeah, we are down to the last level in the game. This one is incredibly intimidating and has gone to many strat iterations. In the current form, we do this, and then we gotta do it again. That's an 8-frame window, by the way. One of the tighter ones in the run, and that's actually gonna be close to time. Time's gonna be when I hit the continue button after this. Damn, that was slow.
Trolled at the last second.
And time.
Nice job. Awesome run.
So yeah, that has been the run. Very cool. Ooh, look at that. That's actually like such a great time for a marathon run, not gonna lie. Usually like when you're doing the talk and such, it's really hard to get to sort of get a run to go below an hour. So getting this here. It's been very cool. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the Peggle community. You may have seen in chat a lot of them like to drop by for marathon runs. And yeah, it's been very cool to watch the community develop. And it's also a pretty comfortable run to get into. It looks really tough with all the pixel shots that we have to go. We go for at a high level, but basically, when you start out, you can just do whatever you want, and you're still playing Peggle. So yeah, a very cool run, and yeah, that's gonna be about it. So let's get on to the next one, I guess.